Welcome to another episode of the Monochrome podcast. Today I've got some very special guests. Glass Heart. Oh yeah, really. So would you like to introduce yourselves and what you do in the band?
I'm Adam Ross. I do vocals. I do the vocals.
I am Nathan. I play guitar, I suppose. Badly. Yeah.
I don't know. I think you play it pretty well, man. So who plays the squeaky toy then? I can hear a squeaky toy.
Oh, that's my dog, that is.
Band's mascot, yeah.
Sorry. Do you know, I didn't even think.
Cooper, shut up.
Spices
He's gone.
Nah, he's lovely.
He's out.
So did you want to just tell me a little bit about the band? Obviously, I know who you guys are, but for anyone listening, who you were and who you are now.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, we were a band called Breathing the Silence. We went for a few years, done some tours around the UK, done Europe once. Played Download Festival. Don't forget Download Festival.
Can't forget that. Class.
Yeah, and now we dispersed, and now we're a band called Glass Heart.
So what was the decision that led you, obviously towards kind of putting that behind and then moving on to something new? Because I actually do remember like following you guys on Twitter, and then you dropped Perpetual Motion under Breathing the Silence, and then for a little while it was, it was gone, and I was just like, you're up on Twitter, like, where's the song?
That's suspicious.
Yeah. So I think that was a case of we got, we were in a band for about 5 years, and we got to a certain point where we were like, we sort of got such a solid idea of what Breathing the Silence was. We couldn't like explore outside of that, and it became very restricted. And there was a lot of things that were happening at the time in our personal lives individually. So we kept Breathing the Silence off like that. And when we started Glass Out, we were like, we want to try and do something new, explore new avenues and try a lot of new things. But there was something about Perpetual Motion that still like resonated with us. So we're like, I'll tell you what, let's keep that back. Let's remove it off of everything, and just maybe we'll use it for Glass Heart one day. And we end up dropping it as our third single then. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure you guys had like a really kind of glitchy style video for that originally, didn't you?
Yeah, we done the first one ourselves.
Yeah,
that was Breathing the Silence.
That was the first video that we did ourselves as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah.
All right. You see, again, you'd have thought that maybe you'd drop that as the the first single for Glass Heart. What led you to do How Many Times instead? Was it just like a stylistic thing you wanted to cement from the off?
I don't really think we thought that much into it, to be honest. We were just keen on getting music out, so
and
go on.
It was sort of when we started the band and started writing music together again, and like Breathing the Silence went through so many member changes and so much ins and outs that we didn't really know what it was like Glass Heart has been the four of us really from the start. Like we've drummers are a bit back and forth. There's always been us two, Jake and Sam, really. And I think we wanted to sort of explore in the beginning what that was before revisiting like old stuff, I suppose. And like we had demos ready, and it's sort of like we like to show how far we can go, really. So when we dropped How Many Times, we wanted to have a bit more of an impactful sort of, in your face sort of song that's a bit weird, like with the chord changes and stuff. And then Tread and Water was more of your sort of, I don't know, up-tempo, like kind of pop punk really. So then Perpetual Motion just fell automatically, like after Treading Water, as we need to get a heavy riffy one in, just to show how much we can, how much we can explore and we can expand, sort of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, kind of shows that you've touched all bases, and you obviously released them all as singles. That was probably quite a big part of launching a project, as well as having different visuals for each of them. Because obviously,
Yeah.
early on, it was very, very blue, I guess you could say, before
Yeah.
you guys started incorporating the orange and stuff into your visuals. What was the thinking behind, expanding beyond that?
In regards to the aesthetic, you mean? In regards
Yeah,
to like the color
essentially.
scheme? You're probably more qualified to answer this one, being a videographer, photographer.
I think the oranges come from it being the summertime, to be honest, because a lot of my inspiration comes from being outside, being, at one with nature. So yeah, when summertime come, we had like a dark and another day come in, and it was just a no-brainer to use. Like, we've had some amazing sunsets last year, so it was just a no-brainer to try and incorporate some of the nice views we have around us. So that kind of led us into more like the reds and the oranges and the other colors, to be honest. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I think
sorry, go on.
one of the conversations that we've had between us is, when we were doing sort of like, concentrating on like the blues and, in regards to like our photo shoots and our videos and stuff, we were talking about, okay, so like, there's only so long that, because we've got attention span of like, 30 seconds or whatever. How can we grow on this? How can we like change and move forward with the aesthetic as the band does? And like, if you literally look at a color wheel, like you used to do in like art school or whatever, then the complete opposite of blue is orange. So like, I remember we had a conversation that, so if we were to flip it on its head, then we would go to orange. And then, being it, as I'd said, the summertime with all of these, these sunsets where it's like the orange is on the horizon, but it's still, massively blue up in the sky. And we were like, let's go for that and see how that turns out, sort of thing. I mean, for us, it was.
Yeah, good. I feel like the first two songs were quite mellow and quite sad, and but then we had Dark coming out, especially Another Day. It was kind of a summer jam anyway, so we wanted it looking, a bit brighter, a bit more optimistic instead of so sad. And so that's where the thinking comes from, I think.
Yeah, and to be honest, speaking about it now, I've never really thought about this, but our singles up until then were sort of like, you start with How Many Times Can We Say Goodbye, really sad, Treading Water, and it sort of built up to Another Day, which was like although still sad in its content, really, when you look at the lyrics and stuff that are in there, it's kind of like the sun rising throughout the
other side.
Opposite EP. Yeah, it's out the other sideline. And, ending with like Loved and Lost, which is very like clean and clinical. It's like the peak of that, really,
Yeah, it definitely rounded off the EP process. Yeah, so like obviously that's a massive part of your brand so far anyway. There's obviously you guys are busy, hard at work, kind of planning the next chapter of the band.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something you're going to incorporate into your next releases, or do you think you're just going to try and kind of do something completely different from that and leave that as a section of the band that was?
Well, obviously we're speaking now in the sort of in the past when this comes out, and it'll become very apparent what we're going to be going for as of when everything comes out for the new single Better Off This Way. How how 2021 is going to look is going to be, I wouldn't say it's massively different to what we've done before, but I definitely think it's a growth and it's a progression, and musically it's the best stuff we've ever written, and we hope that everything that we put out and all everything that everyone sees is up to that standard.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say is there's been consistency with you guys. You work with the same producer for every song, I believe. Do you want to just tell me a little bit about that? And I actually remember reading an interview a while ago where Adam said it was like having another member in the band who's not in the band.
Yeah.
Timmy.
V.
Timmy V.
We work with the same guy. He's good. He's good as gold. He works with us. How he works with us, I don't know.
No, we're not.
He does.
Yeah, he somehow does. And we started working with him. Was it Perpetual Motion? I think we started when we recorded that back ages ago. We recorded with him, and we just sort of fell in love with the way that he sort of he has our vision in his head. He knows what we want before we even ask him for it, and and as funny as it sounds, he's one of the boys. So a big thing about our band is we're not just four of whatever musicians who've just met up and we're going to make music together because we're musicians. We've known each other for so many years now. Like me and Adam used to go to school together when we were 13. We've grown up together. Me and Jake went to university together. We all sort of come through that. We did Breathing the Silence together, been across we're mates first and foremost. And to have someone in the band who producing us who's we know from where he used to sound engineer shows when we used to play Phil Rock Club. We've been drinking with him before. It's just having that aspect of it as well, where there's so much comfort there that he can just we can just sit there and have a laugh all day, or we can make great music. And he's so talented in the way that he thinks about music production, and his vision of what we are giving him is great. He's not just plug in, play, press space bar and record or whatever. He's got clear ideas of what we want. So
I mean, that's obviously been really, really helpful for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you say that, especially now, moving forward with obviously the current climate of the way the world is, being uncertain about how you can record music and stuff now, that's also really helpful as well? If you have to do things over the internet instead of actually being in the studio with them?
Yeah, absolutely. No issues there. You'll see. You'll see.
But yeah, obviously it's going to be really exciting. Everybody actually gets to hear the track. Obviously having a little peek myself, it's very, very different, but very much you guys, if that makes sense. The vocal harmonies stuff are phenomenal, man. So we'll have a little listen to that soon enough. But obviously, would you say Tim is kind of to you guys, he's just the person you do want to work with? And is there any other creatives you've considered working with, whether that be, I don't know, a videographer or a different photographer, or you just obviously you do a lot of stuff yourselves now, if not everything yourselves in that aspect?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's obviously producers you want to work with, but one thing that at the end of the day, we are an independent band. We fund everything ourselves, so going with the guy we really, really want to go with is just it's just not doable for us at the moment. Maybe sometime in the future things be different. But we enjoy doing it ourselves. Kind of feel even if we were paying, especially a videographer or someone, I think I would still want a lot of creative control over how it looked, and you get me.
Definitely. And just on that, the sort of everyone has their sort of Foo Fighters recorded here, all your favorite bands recording these places in LA, Switzerland, or whatever. Like, there's loads of places that we'd love to go. Even like, like Bohemian Rhapsody was recorded in North Wales, which is up the road, sort of thing. Or I don't know. Is it North Wales? Isn't it?
No, which is like by Cardiff.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I didn't realise it was by Cardiff. So South Wales then. Anyway, but like places like that, I can't even remember what it's called. But like we want to go to these places to be like creative with the recording aspect and do, like a lot of the newer stuff. Like we have introduced it since day one, but a lot of the synthesizer stuff that we do, I know we'd like to play with the analog side of that rather than, plugins that you can get on Logic Pro and sort of all that. So we would like to, get behind a Moog or something, or some sort of Roland, like whatever, just to play with it. But
these things come with a price tag as well.
These things do come with a price tag, unfortunately. But
I think you guys are pretty geared up with the current system of doing things anyway. You're obviously able to put songs out pretty regularly. Put a lot of releases out. So I think doing it yourselves obviously has its benefits as well.
Of course.
And like I've said to people before, as well, it's transferable. You could be the dream videographer for another band because you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it works.
Yeah, and we do quite enjoy the visual bit of it, don't we? It's
we do.
Doing I think the videos we enjoy doing ourselves because it's we do take time over them. Like it's not just a case of like we work with videographers in the past who have been brilliant, but it's been like, okay, so you have shoot day and then that's it. They go and edit it for a week and then that's that. But like the way that we do it is that we'll spread it over like a couple of shoot days or something, and we'll make sure the shots are right, and then we'll either edit ourselves or we'll send it over to someone to edit for us, dependent on time and all that. But we do like doing things ourselves just because it's creative control and it's more financially,
viable, I guess. Yeah.
Viable, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get that, man. Makes perfect sense, especially being an independent band. With that as well, obviously, you guys are going to have a group of bands and artists that you're probably dying to tour with, or just dream lineups or whatever. So, who would your perfect dream lineup be?
Oh, there's so many, man. Go on, Cam, you go first. He's going to say Slipknot or something like fucking Iron Maiden now or something like that.
Nah, mate, nah. Like I'd love to do a tour with Dayseeker. I'm loving them at the moment. Their album is amazing. Apart from that, obviously the boys Holding Absence we'd love to tour with. They're good friends of ours anyway, so as well as being amazing and like talented, and their new album's coming out soon. That'll be sick. I'll just get steaming for like 10 days, I think. So apart from Dayseeker and Holding Absence, probably Dream State as well. Yeah, definitely Dream State as well, because we haven't seen them guys in a long time, and they're friends from back in the day and stuff. So yeah, them three, I'd say that I'd love to tour with. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, all of them are great bands. I could love to at some point do them, but if we're talking dream big, I'd have to say like one of mine would be like Paramore. Oh, it'd just be amazing. Just to watch Paramore side stage every night. Who else? Polaris. I think Polaris is a little bit too heavy for us maybe, but another great band. Bring Me Again. All the obvious ones, to be honest, mate.
All the kind of powerhouses in the
yeah,
scene.
Man. Yeah, definitely. Like
any stadium
tours. For me. Any stadium tours will do.
I don't care if it's Bruce Springsteen. I go fuck. I would play the CIA like
Glass Art supporting Tina Turner like.
Supporting like Michael McIntyre on his Comedy Road show, like
the Proclaimers.
Oh, fucking don't. My lecturer at
Jamie
college played drums for the Proclaimers.
No way.
Yeah, see the 500 Miles video? See the wee fucking silhouette in the background? Wee Keith Burns, wee tiny Keith Burns. Can't see his face right enough. He's just a fucking shadow banging the drums. So yeah. no, I'll show him Glass Heart and watch this space.
Yeah, definitely.
See what
Keep an eye
happens.
out.
See what happens. Let's do it.
Anyway, before we have a little listen to the new song and stuff, obviously, is there anything you want to say about it? And where can everybody find you guys on social media?
Should I do you want to say a few words now to the social media bit, or?
I'll go on, love you, do it.
So you can find us on social media at Glassheart UK or facebook.com/Glassheart UK. Yeah, I think that's it. But like Instagram and Twitter is at Glassheart UK. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. I'll be sure to plug that in the bio so everybody can go and look. And if they don't, I'll be very upset with them. Because then I'm going to have to share
very angry.
Twice a day instead of once a day. Sorry about that, by the way, boys.
Boys, man.
The boys.
So the new song, let's get into that.
Good, let's go.
Right, Better Off This Way by Glass Heart. Absolute anthem, I'd say.
Cheers. Thank you, man.
Thanks, dude.
Cause I just need to know you're alright tonight. Can give this thoughts running round in my mind. There's no way I'm getting outside of sleep tonight. When will all the stars in my sky align? No, I don't think I can come home at this time. I just wanna stay awake until I see the sunrise.
And then it was.
Oi, Sav, look.
Yeah, banger. We'll just we'll ignore the fact that it wasn't sharing the sound straight away, and we'll just pretend that never happened. That's fine. Fix it in post. New Glass Heart song, absolute banger. Like I've already said about 10 times. Better off this way. Obviously,
you,
there's a lot going on in that song, particularly the synth work leading into the pretty nasty breakdown. I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit gritty.
Yeah, a little bit riffy.
Bit of grit. It was quite a like a sort of coming out the other side, like emotional sort of like thing for us, like with everything that's lockdown, and it's just a lot of collective emotions going in the air of like frustration and sort of like looking for a light sort of thing. So I think we wanted to sort of convey that in this new one. So, and
Would you say,
to be honest, I think it's come through like
this one in particular kind of, it was like cathartic for you to get out there?
Yeah, it's one that I keep on listening back to more than the others, I'd say, personally.
I think the symphony makes it sound a lot more different to the other stuff we've done.
I think that's been something that's been creeping into your sound more as the singles progress. Like obviously,
yeah,
you also hear that a lot in Loved and Lost, like that intro.
Well, with the new songs, we've definitely tried to treat the synth as like an extra instrument almost, because it's always just been something that's just been put on top to kind of fill things out a bit. But with the new songs, we kind of wanted it to, be another instrument, like I just said, and have its bit in the song, if that makes sense. Like have it to breathe in the song as well.
Yeah, like obviously, like the way you have approached writing now is probably very different. I'd assume that early on you guys were probably quite a guitar-driven band almost. Like you would work everything around how you structure the riffs and the clean sections.
Yeah, I think we always have been.
Whereas now you're probably, I don't know, like writing synth parts and being like, right, how can we complement this with, Nathan
exactly,
or Jake or whatever.
It's exactly how we're treating it, and I think because first and foremost, Adam takes the lead on the synth stuff. He's very good at finding a sound that that we all like, and that's what spurs on an idea. And with New Glass Heart, like when we started the band, I feel like I had more of a I had more of the initial ideas to start off with, and I started to sort of burn out of them original ideas, and then Adam came swooping in with these amazing sort of synth parts that then rolls on the writing process more, and that's how it starts. And then for example, we've been writing recently, and it seems like every person has more so than ever, it's more of a collaborative process than it was when we were like as Breathing the Silence was, because everyone else.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I agree, and even more so the first few Glass Heart songs. Like these newer ones are more of all of us than they ever have been.
I absolutely agree. It's everyone chips in, like I'll be like, oh, okay, so I like this guitar bit, and then Adam was like, oh, it needs to go into something like this, and then we'll sort of write a bit of that, and then sort of Jake will swoop in and be like, okay, so this so this is how it is now, but how about we just rip it apart and structure it like this instead? And Sam's like, oh, I want the drums to sort of do this and this. It's exciting because it's a way that we've never wrote before. It's always been like, okay, so one person writes pretty much like 80% of the song, and we all put like little ideas in. Whereas now it definitely feels like more equal and more of an equal process for us all to get behind just every single song, really.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Well, there you have it. That's the evolution of Glass Heart.
You've heard of here first, mate.
We finally learned how to get on. That's
That's
You were
basically the moral of the
acquaintances
story.
before.
that's basically
You
all
are
but
mates.
all of it. Yeah. I tell
Yeah,
you
well,
what,
before we'd write something, Camp would write something, and then I'd be like, "Oh, try putting this in there," and he'd be like, "No," and I'd just be like, "All right, okay." And
Yeah.
vice versa, I'd write something, and he'd be like, "Oh, put this in there," and I'd be like, "No,
Now
100% no."
that sounds like a shit idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether we've grown as musicians or have just grown more
As
sort of
people.
yeah, grown more as people. I think it's definitely the people one, but you know, just so yeah,
Could be a little bit of both.
like a
Yeah, a bit of
collaborating more
both.
has definitely been it's definitely improved our band and improved our motivation going forward, because we're all like, because we've all had like the equal input. We're sort of like, oh god, we all want this to work, rather than one person carrying the weight and sort of trying to do everything, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of it's down to having the vision as well. Like if one person's just writing all of a song, then the other person doesn't really get what the other person's trying to do. Do you get me? If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So as a more of a collaborative thing, we can all be more on board with it. We can all like understand what the other one's trying to get at.
The thought.
Before it was marriage, now it's marriage with kids.
Yeah, I won't go that far, but it's definitely a bit better.
It's definitely a bit further away from divorce than it was. Like
yeah.
Would you say the end of bits was the marriage counselling, and now this is the
this is it?
Come up like,
oh, we did it. We did good.
Yeah, like you know, I think we saw the end of the last band as a big defeat, really, because we put a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into Breathing the Silence, and we found in the end that it just felt like we were hitting our head against the door.
Yeah, it just wasn't on our side. That's all.
Yeah, and it's you know, it is what it is, and I think we had a lot of things to work out in regards to the music, in regards to each other, and now in Glass Out, I feel like we've sorted all of that out, and all we can do is, you know, just press forward, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, for the first time, from you know, personally in a while, I'm excited for not for what I know is coming out. I'm excited for what I don't know is gonna. You know, I'm excited for like the new music. I'm excited for 2021, what 2022 is gonna hold. I'm excited what the band's gonna do, because I'm gonna Scooby Doo or what's gonna happen. But I know that everyone is equally as excited as I am. You know.
Yeah, like I'd say that's probably something that from a fan's perspective I've noticed anyways. Obviously I got into bits kind of, I guess, towards the tail end, and the second half as a band. You guys obviously have formed a community with Glassheart more than bits, I guess. Like,
yeah.
That's amazing.
Someone's got a Glassheart tattoo, for fuck's sake, you know what I mean?
I know, man.
Two
I didn't know there was
people.
two.
Bigger Ryan Hollenbeck and Melanie Hillebrand for getting Glassheart tattoos. You absolute legends. Like, what is that about? Like, never would I thought, like, this time last year when we were like, oh yeah, start a band again, that two people would get our like emblem tattooed on them forever. Like, none of like we've all got like Breathing the Silence tattoos. But like in the first year, like I'm probably gonna get an emblem tattoo now, but when I saw it, I was just like, what? And this, you know, the family, the Glassheart family just blows my mind, the stuff that comes out of that community group. And like, you know, if you're listening, then you can join it and stuff. Like, the link is somewhere. Like,
it's like the whole tattoo thing. It's like it's going to be there forever unless they decide to get it removed. Even then, they're still going to have the logo in some weird scar shape. So they're for good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
exactly.
like ink inside your skin, pun intended.
That's mad.
I'm liking it. I like who did that.
Yeah, it's great, man. Honestly, it's like it's a group, and especially during lockdown, obviously you saw a lot of activity in that group, and people like the merch, the handwritten notes and stuff. It's obviously done you guys and probably your fans the world of good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is, honestly, it's for I can't speak there. For to have people a part of something that that you've put your heart and soul into as well is amazing.
It blows my mind that the people relate to the music. A lot of the songs and a lot of the lyrical content comes from a place which is quite dark. I think going forward, it's sort of coming out of that sort of dark place. But we try to collaborate on every aspect, whether it's the guitars, the drums, the bass, the lyrics. Like we want to say as a collective what we want to say, and for us four to be like, okay, so this is what we're going to say for this song. This is sort of like a mixture of what we're all feeling, maybe at the moment, or of how we felt before in a certain situation. What are we talking about here? For someone to like resonate with that and feel that enough to be like, oh my god, I'm gonna, like I'm buzzing about this song so much that I'm gonna do this thing, whether it's get a tattoo or make like a buy a jacket and just like put our logo all over it, or just anything. It's just like, it's so insane. Yeah. It's so insane for us, and we never had that with Breathing the Silence. We had people like saying, oh, the songs are good, and people who would buy the EP and stuff, buy our merch, but we never had anything even like shades of what we've had with the Glass Art family, and like that community, and being able to speak to these people like we have as well has been great. So
power of social media.
I even saw something not like bake fucking cookies or something like that with your logo shape.
I'm sure someone did a puzzle as well.
Yeah, so Melanie did a puzzle, and it was between, and forgive me, I'm going to say Philly. It's between Philly and Melanie. They were both baking the great British glass art, or the great German glass art off. They were both like making like emblem cakes and stuff, where like our logo and stuff. Oh, it's amazing.
My favourite was the embroidered denim jacket. Was my favourite.
Yeah, that was
insane. That was
that
it was better than our ones.
Yeah,
mate, it was better than Jake's. It was so much better than Jake's.
It was.
It was amazing.
We did ours like screen printed, and then she did them just like hand stitched. Like
we didn't even screen print ours. We used an iron. and then
we did.
And someone went and embroidered one. It's amazing, honestly.
Well, we don't
amazing.
know how to
Thank you.
So it's awesome. We don't know how to use a sewing machine, so if anyone was to like teach us, then that's great. But
I'll just do it for us. We'll just pay you for it.
Yeah, just do fancy a couple of quid and just do it.
Just sort the boys out. Even my jeans, I'll send you. I can send you my jeans, and you can just repair the holes in them. Like,
oh, the life of a musician.
Times are hard. Like times are so hard.
Wait till the tour start kicking off again. Holes in your vest. Yeah, we see your vest. We have holes in that in no time. Patch up with a little glass heart. Like, patch, yeah.
Are those fishnet tights? Nah, it's just my jeans, mate. Like, there's just so many holes in them. Like,
my granddad would fucking hate them. Holes all over them.
God.
Listen, guys, thank you so much for coming on. This is an episode of this I've wanted to do for quite a while. Obviously, when I started this, it was one of the bands I checklisted in my head was, get Glass Art Boys on.
Boys.
No pressure, man.
We'll
have to do it in person next time.
Before I let you go. Oh, yeah, for sure. When you come up, I'm going to fucking kick around with my camera and my bag. Get you in a little vegan cafe or something in Glasgow. Like, we're filming. Won't give them any notice. Like, but
We're
yeah. So
filming.
one final
Deal with it.
question that I've already asked before, and it just makes me chuckle internally because it's such an unexpected answer. Glass Heart Battle Royale, IRL fight. Out of the four years, who's gonna win?
Me. No,
100% me.
No. Right. Well, without saying ourselves, it's going to be Sam, innit? We got to be fair. It's going to be Sam.
Yeah, probably.
If we all fought each other, Sam would win. Sam is literally trained in jiu-jitsu, I want to say. It is
He's got a
jiu-jitsu,
black.
isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a
He
black
hasn't got
belt.
a black
And,
belt.
he's got a black belt in origami, hasn't he?
No, you fucking shut up. Well, he's a Sam is he's trained in martial arts. He sort of teaches it as well a little bit. Obviously not now with the lockdown, but I remember when we were in the we stay in it's a band called Led by Lanterns, and we stay with them sometimes when we go to Birmingham. And when we were touring, when Glass Art started, I remember me and him were like, oh, he was like, oh, I do jiu-jitsu or whatever. I was like, oh, try and take me down. And he wrapped me up like a pretzel. It was just like that. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, go on. And like, no holds barred. Yeah, I couldn't breathe. I thought I was dying. Yeah, so Sam would wrap us all up, to be honest.
So don't try and rip Glass Heart off because their drummer's an absolute fucking mean machine.
Pretty much, yeah.
I used to do the sort of tour managing job when we used to like tour independently, breathing the silence. But Sam's doing it now because if any promoter fucks us off, then he's just gonna wrap them up like no tomorrow. Like.
Listen, thanks again for coming on. And if you haven't heard Glass Heart before, I highly encourage you to check them out. I'll plug all the socials and probably spam their poor Instagram for the next 4 weeks of my life.
Legend.
Sorry in advance for the phone vibration when you're at work.
Well, I don't get signal there anyway, so who cares?